But we'll have to work on that. If anyone actually saw me slowing down the game from the opponent's perspective, let me know. I'm pretty sure the graphics lab was only local. And here we have, in the top corner, the red Terran, ProfFrink, representing Team Blackberry with their fruity insignia. And down in the lower left, we have the blue Terran, Facebook's Gunslinger. And fortunately, in this duel, we got to choose weapons. We chose StarCraft and not pistols. Gunslinger sounds like he'd win the match if we were dueling with pistols, but no, we're dueling with SCVs, and that means it's anyone's game. But we should give it some time to get going. Sing once again with me a strange duet. My power over you grows stronger yet. And though you turn from me to glance behind, the phantom of the opera is there, inside your mind. Those who have seen your face draw back in fear. I am the mask you wear. It's me they hear. My spirit and my voice in one combined. The phantom of the opera is there, inside your mind. Fairly straightforward and equal early game. Slight advantage to the barracks timing and one worker kill from ProfFrink for some good early game SCV play. Now the question is, can he get out alive? No. That will even up the workers killed count once that Marine finishes. Trying to take out a second worker, it's not going to happen. There we go. It's one Marine each, one worker kill each, one barracks, two supply depots each, one gas. If there was ever such a thing as a mirror matchup, it was this one. Oh, but here's the first deviation. A relatively hidden factory here, and a not quite so hidden factory here. So that's not the biggest of deviations, but I would guess Gunslinger will be doing something slightly sneakier. Banshees, high probability. You can't really go with a Hellion or Widowmine or Siege Tank early push because you want to have that barracks producing the add-ons. But over here, the factory produces the add-ons. The starport just gets built right next to it. And the whole thing is hidden from sight when you're not playing against overlords. Yes, there's a lot of Banshee openers, and if you can just guess from your opponent. Oh, what's this? Widowmine first. We have seen some excellent Widowmine placements from ProfFrink in practice games, where the Banshee comes in, moves towards the SCVs, dies to Widowmine, and then they go, yep, okay, plan B. Oh, double starport. This looks like a 2 starport cloaked Banshee. Aggressive. Ooh. What's this? Yes. No, it's just another tech lab. Could have been going for some sort of crazy drop, but no, it's not. It's just straight. Ooh. Viking first. Okay, Banshee all in versus someone who's building a Viking first, has Widowmines hidden behind his buildings. I'm gonna put my bet on Frink, not just because the teammate I'm contractually obliged to. The only problem is that this relatively early expand, will he be able to defend it? He only has the one Viking, which is going across the map. And there's a scan. I'm guessing the Gunslinger is going to anticipate Banshees as well. He missed seeing the Viking. He just saw the starport come over. Now it's producing a Viking. What's going to happen? Well, he's going to start building up his Banshees. There's the cloak. We've got... yeah. He's building Vikings, probably in equal numbers to the Banshees, plus the Widow Mines. He's going to need some great cloak in order to make this happen. And the Vikings' proactive scouting, almost, is it going to... Okay, well that's one ineffective Banshee. Oh, scouted, and if it can't even pull back and wait for cloak, because cloak is just not going to be done in time. But there is a second Banshee there. The Banshee speed is actually good enough to stall. He might be able to get cloak, but two Banshees this early. There, oh, Viking escort. Could become quite the air battle. Bit surprising to see it become straight to air instead of TVT that normally goes through for some bio and some mech. No, it's all just air, all in. A couple cloak Banshees with extreme amounts of Vikings. Versus just plenty of Vikings and Widow Mines and Marines. And no. We'll see. He is repairing his air fleet. 3 Vikings, 2 Banshees, cloak. But I think he needs to get something done here. That second command center from Gunslinger, way behind. This orbital's already got its gas out. That should allow him to get a significant lead. Don't really need the tank, but if he brought in some Thors, maybe even additional starports. Yeah, that fast 2 starport, now he's supply block trying to make his 3rd Banshee. Ooh. There is a delay here. Definitely, and even in the worker count, we've got a slight advantage for Frink as well. He's trying to get a flank going right over the watchtower. He did clear that vision, but the thing is, Frink knows exactly what's happening. He's got the Widow Mine ready. He's building another turret. He's not redeploying his forces. Might expect to be a fake out. There's a scan. That should really give it away. Is Frink going to respond in time? So far, that missile turret is up too late. The Vikings tank the Widow Mine hit. His other Vikings just not responding. I must be waiting until he gets everything together. No? No? He's just gonna sit there? Okay. Well, on the plus side, yes, there is that problem with the Banshee. Sitting there as well, so not the best micro from either player. We have a missile turret in the mineral line, though. It looks like that might be enough. He didn't need to bring in these troops. He was keeping them secret as his special sauce. Well, and then there's the Cloak Banshee, but there's still, I believe, the Raven alive. Infernal Pre-Igniter. Are we going to see some sort of crazy drops? Well, I mean, Frank's ready for everything, except even this, yeah, but all he's got going against him is some light air harass, which he has held off very well, and I'm not seeing anti-counter harass happening. He did see the Raven being made. He attacked it right as it came out of the starport, but didn't get it. And then it rebuilds. Little oversaturated there. Wow. Preparing that light air fleet. No, I would say that Professor Frink has an advantage. He held off that aggression beautifully, but where's his counter-aggression? Infernal Pre-Igniter with no Hellions on the map. Is that intentional? Did he think and accidentally want to get the drilling claws, or did he want to get Infernal Pre-Igniter to add light damage to his Vikings? I don't know, but he's ready for some killer Hellion drops if he makes any of those units, and he's got his double armory, extra factories. It looks like he's going to go for a very heavy mech play, probably one of the Infernal Pre-Igniter then for super strong Hellbats, because those Hellbats and Hellbat drops are another great way to clear out Marines, especially if you've transitioned most of your mech to Thor as opposed to tanks. Yeah. In fact, the workers, 3 workers ahead from Professor Frink. I think that Gunslinger did nothing with that aggression, but then he just cut his defense. And because Frink didn't attack, nothing happening. And then we've got these Widow Mines, just making sure he can't take a third very easily. This is a bit aggressive, pushing out from Gunslinger here. I mean, he's probably just going for a bit more vision, a bit of map control, a bit of getting hit by Widow Mines. And he doesn't scout the one that's actually going to delay the base. But if he'd only gotten Drilling Claws. Well. Here's the static front, and oh! Well, at least the missile turret will reveal the Widow Mine, but I think Professor Frank's going to know what's up. Is he ever going to use his superior army and situation to attack, or does he want to play a meching style where he just sits there? He did get his third earlier. He's definitely ahead economically, and delaying this third is only going to help. But yeah, there is a definite sit-and-wait portion of the game the way it's played here, but I would argue it doesn't have to be. There are so many harassment options that are available to Frink. For example, the Vikings, they don't have to sit back and defend against Banshees. You can move in, try and snipe some Banshees at the base, and if you get an opportunity, you land. But at the very least, you're applying pressure to your opponent. You can try and keep them on the defensive, and you distract them from, say, getting that third up, which just happening for Gunslinger. And the ProfFrink, slight lead. 10 workers lead at the moment, so that is actually something if he can keep that up. But is he finally going to decide to push out? He's got more workers, he's got tanks, does he have upgrades? He's got upgrades. He should have this in the 2-2 starting. He should be able to knock out this third. I just don't think that there's that much that Gunslinger can do. The heavy Vikings, Frink didn't actually go heavy air. He's got enough Vikings to hold that off. But then when it comes to ground, his siege tanks are going to be in position first. There's some Hellbats to tank the first wave of siege tank shots. And Viking point defense drones. That's going to win the Viking war. There we go. The air has gone to Professor Frink. Now the siege tanks can move up a little. The scans are keeping them from moving up too aggressively, but they don't actually have to move up that far. If they just went around the side here, they could easily hit the command center. And then, of course, the siege tank lines battling each other. We've got an upgrade advantage for Professor Frink, which should help. Oh. Ooh, SCVs wrapping around the frontline siege tanks. I don't like that. It's less repair and more ablative armor. And he tried to bring around the Marines to flank, but yeah. It's a good point that the SCV count being pulled. Frink is actually mining from 3 bases. All those SCVs pulled. The extra missile turrets to try and stop those Vikings, which could have just gone into a mineral line and landed. I think those Vikings are being underutilized, especially when they all died of missile turrets shortly. But what does it matter? He's got temporary air superiority. That allows him to push in the tanks. You can see them there. They're going to take out the command center, at least force it to land. That lol, Vikings. Yeah, missile turrets. Normally those can't catch Vikings quite so well. Or Ravens. Oh. But even if he loses the air battle here, as long as he can find a good time to retreat safely, he has a massive economic lead. Up here you can see that he's managed to secure his 4th now. 2-2 for those vehicles coming in, against still the 0-0 for his opponent. It's a very decisive advantage for Frink here. Oh, and the Hellbat drop. Excellent. That toasts workers like nothing else. How did I miss that? Well, it looks like Gunslinger missed it too. No pulling of the SCVs away from that. He's just keeping an eye on the siege tank line. There is this static front here, but behind it, he's got half a mining base to the 3.5 that Frink has. I mean, I can see Gunslinger holding this line for some time, but that's just until he gets an overwhelming amount of tanks and Hellbats thrown at him. Surprisingly enough, the Viking production has slowed down for Frink. He's lost air control. Oh, and the Marines, they're almost sniped the medevac. Oh, what is it? We've got 21 hit points. He's trying to assault a third that doesn't exist. No. Nope, not happening. The SCV scout almost repairs. And does he, oh, it pulls away. That was pretty much his only mining base. It's now been forced to pull away. You can see the Hellbats are actually managing to take out some of those Marines, pulling a few tanks back. Not coordinating with aggression here, but certainly keeping him from landing that command center. That doesn't qualify as a mining base, but this is where all his macro is. Hellbats going straight onto the line, a bit aggressive, but hey, he has troops to burn. Literally, in both senses. There is so much burniation happening against these 0-0 tanks. I mean, they're not doing too bad. They got a few kills, but still can't cover enough to get the third safely. Doesn't have the workers if he didn't. The air control, yes, one Banshee, and he could have gone there because somehow Frink has just stopped building Vikings in preference for Thors. And here are the first Thors coming now. And I will admit, Thors are a great component of mech because they can help you control the skies. That range on the Thor air attack is insane. And of course it can crush Banshees. You just don't want to walk out into the siege tank line like that. There are better ways to use your Thors. Bit of miscoordination there. Well, he's got resources, he's got more. 1-1 finally started for Gunslinger, but 3-3 is on the way for ProfFrink. And another Hellbat drop. Toasting it. The worker count is 9 to 90. I mean, the static front. I like Gunslinger's progress in the static front. He has a chance there, but 9 to 90, 8 to 90. It's more than a 10 times worker lead. Oh, this could be the most epic comeback ever, or he could just set his rally point into the tank line and still win. Let's find out which one it is. There we go, Thor's walking right into tanks. It's a bad idea, but who can rebuild the units when they die? That's ProfFrink. Blue, no, nothing on gas, barely any workers. The tanks have been pushed back because he has nothing. Nothing, and there's the GG. Professor Frink wins a TVT really fast at under 25 minutes.